and frivolous insight may deem it permissible to curate a disposition whereby which a stand shall be made, whether on our terms or yours. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 22 of Hard Art Comedy. I'm Daniel Varela, injecting pure talent on stole from Rush Limbaugh. Y'all remember Rush Limbaugh? I miss that guy. Oh, well, happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas. Trump won. John Johnson. Mike Johnson is in as Speaker of the House. This is January 4th, I believe, in the year of our Lord, 2025. It is approximately 1500 in the PM. And I just wanted to let you guys know, man, I do miss Rush Limbaugh, man. I've been listening to some of his old clips, and man, I got teared up listening to his last sign-off before the Christmas, a few years before he had passed, man. So I'm going to steal a lot of stuff from him because he was pure talent on loan from God. But I got to steal that stuff, so I'm going to jack it from good old Rush Limbaugh. Now, as you can see and you can hear, I want to give it like a cathedral, marble palace type feel, so hence the echo, hence the background. And, oh yeah, that healthcare kid shot the CEO guy and got him killed. But here's to you guys. Perhaps we should talk about that coming up too, because that's still ongoing. And you know, let's just get down to business, man. I hope you like the intro song. I did that. I ripped the deal from the internet. And I've been listening to a handful of great thinkers over the past, I'd say 15 years plus. And I got to say, man, let's do the math. Approximately 8 hours a day for 5 days. That's 40 hours a week. And then you go to 40 hours a week times 52, and that is about 2,080 hours a year. So you take 2,080 hours times 15. That's 31,200 hours. So that's 31,200 hours worth of Rush, Mark Levin, Tom Sowell, or Soul, whatever you say, Clarence Thomas, Antonin Stelias, you know, the rest of them, etc., etc. And that has been bottled up and ready for mass production, you know, after all this time. So on top of that, I actually have 21 years worth of Bible study. Now, I'm kind of going to deviate away from the actual message here that I was going to give, and it always seems that way when I have something prepared. We may get into it, but I think it's now coming to purpose that I tell a little bit about my backstory that I haven't shared, but a little splotch, a little time in the previous episodes, and I'm deciding to keep them there until further notice because of, you know, the tomfoolery and the excessive BS that's in it, and you know, at least somebody can track the progress that has been made through somebody starting a show. And then now, you know, by myself. As a matter of fact, I talked to Lovell Levante, Adam Smith, Jr. Jackson III, McCassell today. I don't remember. And we had a question. I had a question what his take was on the healthcare kid. And he had replied, but I'm going to see if he'll come join me. I've switched everything up. And I hadn't had contact with with Ryland, and we'll as soon as I do, we'll break some more down, as far as the shows is concerned and what we have going on. And by the way, we do have a couple of shows coming up on January the 21st, I believe. I'll confirm. We do have a show here at the Fuel Bar, and then we have another show in Pflugerville, Texas. So all you Austin people, man, y'all share the news that we coming to a town near you. And we're gonna just, old school Pantera tunes is, rock the pants off, as they say. I mean, I'm not mines, but anyway. So going back to, I was 21, and pretty much in a bad spot, just junk, like everybody else in some cases. And I decided to join the Marines. Well, I walked in and I was like, hey, man, everything I got's in this bag. Where's your bus? Let's go. War had already been kicked off, Operation Shock and Awe, remember, with Bush and them, and, Death Vader, Cheney, Halliburton, already kicked off and everything. And so I'm like, man, I'm not going to kill myself, but I'm done with all this tomfoolery. And Lieutenant, I think it was, Minor, saved my life. He's like, man, you got to take care of these two things. And that is, I had like 8 hours of community service and about $200 worth of legal fees or something. Because when I was 18, I was actually, why I liked the fucking Hostile song, is I was literally arrested for a joint. And I wanted to go down that road, and, unfortunately, my stepdad at the time convinced my mama that they go ahead and get me out. And I was like, man, it was already school still, and, I was going to run it. All right, you want to put me in here for a fucking joint? All right, let's go with it. I was going to do my time. I was going to, fuck school, fuck it all, let's go. That's where I was in my life, and it stayed like that up until when I was 21. I thought I was going to drink myself to death. Chose not to. The guy was like, take care of these things, and I was like, well, few and the proud my ass. I thought y'all was some hardcore. I mean, I could run, you know what I'm saying? And I just didn't go to the next guy because I thought they'd tell me the same thing. It was like, yeah, these are the most badass of the badasses, and they don't want to take me because of some BS. Well, then, okay, well, the other guys are more sissified. I mean, not saying that's what you are, nothing against any of the other people, but I was like, nah. Anyway, shortly after that, I was a welder by trade, couldn't find any work here in San Antonio, and, I could have tried harder, but we didn't have the internet back then like we did now, at least, in Floresville, where I was staying at the moment, and we didn't have these smartphones, so it was not like, yeah, I could just go on to something called LinkedIn or anything like that. We didn't have that, so I had to drive all the way to San Antonio, waste gas that I didn't have, no gas money, no nothing. So I would say, hey, mama this, mama that. And so one day I was on the couch. So would you do nothing? Yeah. And I was a loser then, and that's why I was like, man, this is some bull crap, bro. Look, trying to go there and get killed or kill people, do whatever Darth Vader, Cheney wanted me to do, and still, I guess I sucked that bad, man. Anyway, I was watching church TV. Flipped to the channels, man, threw into Sally, Jesse Raphael, and Jerry. And then the court TV came on and that. And so what happened was, there all of a sudden was this story time. Pink, big-headed woman saying, help the children, talking about some people in Africa. So they were doing a campaign where you'd send in XYZ amount of dollars and they'd send bricks in your name to Africa where they would build a school or something with your name on it for the kids in Africa. And the reason why I'm kind of trying to hold back a laugh is because I thought that was honorable. I thought that's what people did, man, like Christians. Now, I have a big problem with the name Christian and assuming the moniker of that, because I'd rather use disciple of Christ. Big difference. Anyway, I thought that's what they did. I thought that's the honorable thing to do. And so I called the number that was on there. Help the poor children. Help the children. Lord knows. So like Paul Bear. Help the children. I called the number on there. I was like, say, is there anybody affiliated with you guys over here on San Antonio, Texas? And so, crazy enough, she passed me on to somebody, asked the same question, passed it on to somebody, asked the same question, and they gave me two numbers. One was to Daily Bread of San Antonio. At the time, was head under a gentleman by the name of Seth Keene. And then the other one was a place called Kingdom Resources under the Sholins. Now I called Daily Bread and them closed. And then I called Kingdom Resources. And they was open. Lady was like, yeah, I mean, you come on down. And it was on a Tuesday or a Thursday. Anyhow, this was when I had already been turned 21. So I went down there, and then I was met with love, acceptance, mercy, and grace. And with open arms, here I am the way I look, right? And I had long hair then too. This lady took me around the facility and told me her whole life. And like walking up to that place, it felt like, Moses, you're on holy ground. Take off your shoes kind of thing. It's like, man, I don't even belong here. Like I'm filthy. And the lady just loved me, man. Mama Shola. And, you know, took me around. And that's where I met Old Man Crane. Nail it! That's where I met some other people. And I was taken aback. And here's a cool story. I only had enough gas to get there. It was about, what, no, say 15, 20 miles. I was already on E. And at the end of the day, my man Steve, shout out, he was there. And he showed up on a bread run. So it was Tuesday. Bread runs are Tuesday, I believe, if I remember correctly, and Thursday. I can't remember. Is it Tuesday or Thursday? On Austin. So at the time, after helping them unload and do stuff, and he was like, "Hey, why don't you come back or not?" And so took me down the street, man, and he filled my gas tank up full of fuel. And I didn't tell him, like, I could help brother out, you know what I'm saying? Oh, man, a couple of dollars, huh? I didn't ask, I just showed up, man. And so on the way home, I was sniffling and that, you know, I mean, I wasn't trying to sniff nothing or take a whiff of anything, but just, you know, boogers and tears. It was very emotional. It was a come back to Jesus movement because I was 21. Prior to that, when I was 12 years old, that's when I first began to understand who and what God is, whom and what I am. And we'll get to that later. There's a lot of good juice in there. So here I am. I said, yeah, I'll come back, and I, would show up, and I would help out. I would serve, and One time I came home and there was a dispute at the house, and I was like, I can't stay here. And I was actually thinking about moving back to Virginia at the time. And so I was like, man, I had let them know. I called. I said, I know you expect me to tomorrow. I said I was going to come, but I'm not going to leave y'all hanging and let y'all know that I'm not going to be there because I'm actually going to be working my way up to Virginia. And they're like, hey, well, why don't you just come by real quick and maybe we could talk about it. You seem distressed and everything like that. And we'll get into that story later if y'all ask. Or maybe I'll even do a Patreon thing where I'll tell these detailed stories because it's pretty intense. And so I'm like, I got to go. And so I picked it up. And what happened was, on the way out there, I got there. It was 7 or so, 6:30-ish. And then I told them what happened, and they're like, well, just stay a day or two. We'll get some stuff together. We'll go back, blah, 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 blah. Now they know the specifics, what to pray for, blah, blah, blah. See how we can do to help, because that's what they did. They'll make some phone calls, boom, get some funds together, get me back up there. Well, the next day, they proposed to me an opportunity to actually stay with them. Like, hey, well, just chill, I was like, I mean, they didn't have, like, space. It was a 8,000 square foot warehouse. There was 2 offices, living quarters, and a conference room, and a restroom and stuff like that, and shower downstairs, and everything was warehouse. And so I was like, yeah, that might be a better idea, because I just came back from Virginia, and that sucked. More stories there, I'll tell you that too, man. I better get that picture. I'll tell you them good stories. And so, anyway, long story short, man, it turned into 4.5 years. Throughout that 4.5 years, I was able to go to Africa, India, Nevis, and St. Kitts. It's the same thing. Mexico, of course, and learned a lot of skills, outreach, multiple organization craftings for outreach and stuff like that, and we just did it, man. And one of my best good buddies joined shortly thereafter. As a matter of fact, he's on a recording, but I need to get his so I can edit it together so we can show the world. What's crazy is when YouTube first started, we actually have a video that we did together, and hell, I'll find it, and here you go. Here it is. Watch. Move! Go! Go!
Dave, what are you doing? He's just a boy.
It's general. It's because of people like you, sissy boys justified to sleep all morning.
You're crazy. Get this. Let's go, Chaz. Let's get out of here.
Where you going? So 4.5 years, I stopped because I kind of reached the end of the line there at that place. I was asking, so we'd had my buddy Jake, John had showed up, and they had already started running, taking control of everything, and I was just kind of sitting there flipping my thumbs, man. What are we doing? What am I doing? Kind of, okay, I'm useless. And then I started really feeling worthless, like, man, I'm not needed. And not for the fault of anybody else. It was just my own thing. And I really wasn't speaking out about it. I was just, hey, what's the next step? I'd like to learn the business aspect of things, how to write grants and let's do the taxes. You know, I just knew that there was a lot of weight on Steve's shoulders, and I was like, hey man, let me teach me some of the stuff that I can do, some background things where it's not all on your shoulders, and you just look over my work and then go from there. Because I was thinking at that time I'm either going to continue the thing or do something else, but I have these skill set. Since then, never learned any of it. Should have, and it's my fault, it's nobody else's. And then it was like, okay, yeah. So I sat on that for a little bit, and next step, and they tried too. Hey, blah blah blah, go try this, go see this, go whatever. And nothing landed, and I started truck driving. That simple. It's like, you know what? Let me take a break. And I tell people, man, I was burnt out, but really I wasn't. I was just idle. I was useless. That's what it was. So don't get useless. Don't get idle, man. You stay busy. Either your brain, your mind, you learn, you do whatever, you read different language, whatever it is, because you get burnt out or you get idle, and then it's like now you're not moving anywhere, you get stagnant, and then there your dreams go. Boom, there you go, your life goes. Because after that I got married. And I hate to say it, but there goes my ministry, my work in ministry went too. And it's not to blame her, it's my choice, right? I chose to, because my idea was, let me go do truck driving. It's a year commitment. I'll throughout the year, you get home time, and so I'll work, come home, park the truck right there next door, serve there, and whatever money I get, I'm gonna assist the ministry financially and get some motorcycle and a music equipment, and after the year commitment's done, boom, I'm done. I got my CDL, blah blah blah. All right, I'm quit. Let's go back to ministry or utilize that CDL, whatever. In the ministry, however, wherever, wherever. But we got it. We got it. But while I was going to school, my brother, he enrolled his son in football. I played ball in high school, and my brother played basketball. And he had called. He's like, "Hey man, what are some drills that I can give the boys?" And I was like, well, let me go see what I'm looking at. And I just fell in love, man. I saw all these kids running around, smashing into each other and craziness. And so throughout the day, I was in school, and at the end of every day, I was coaching. And I would come home back and forth. At that time was at, Kingdom Resources, and that's what I was doing. About 2 weeks into that, here's when I was met with the, next step. I'll put it in a good way, the way it was put into me. It was like considering the change of address. And so I told my brother, and there I stayed for a little bit. And then that's when I actually met my now wife of 15 years. And so then her dad came to me and was like, hey, man, I know your situation and blah blah blah, and so so we got married quick, but it was everybody knew, who needed to know on her part, knew what I did and where I was in my life. I was like, oh, you're not a loser, you're not a bum, you're not on drugs, you're in a transition period, you seem like a good guy, blah blah blah. You help people, you give in and of yourself or whatever. And so it was not scary for them. Plus, my boy, who's now 22, he was 6 at the time, turning 7, I think. This is tea, by the way. So there it was. There was my ministry. There's my time in it, my 4.5 years. So I went to the Marines to join the military, to join an army, and essentially I had ended up joining an army of sorts because I met a lot of people, a lot of good people, great people. And I still, man, I get emotional when I think about them because some have passed that they've sown into my life. They have given of themselves into my life. And they knew, oh, you guys got this guy staying with y'all. And they'd come and saw and they heard, and I gave, my own testimony, and I talked to them, and they're like, oh, okay, good. And, throughout the 4.5 years they've seen. And, God work in my life. And I've seen God work in other people's lives. And I've seen what he is able and capable to do. And I've seen how he is, who he is, why he is. So it's easy for people who haven't seen, haven't tasted, haven't understood, and or choose to refuse. It's easy for that disposition to arise against a voice speaking directly against it, whatever their thought process is. And I see it and I get it. I was there once. So I don't yell back. I don't argue against. I don't waste the time to entertain the frivolous will to disprove what you can't disprove what's been proven to me. Even before the time at KR, man, between 12 and 21, it was in my gut. I heard in my gut, right? I've seen the change. Dude, there's another story. Great stories, amazing stories, huge. I have experienced in and of myself. But see, at the same time, that's not enough for me to say, hey, God's real, and here's why, because of my own experience. That means absolutely nothing to nobody. That means absolutely nothing. That's only my testimony. So I'm not here trying to, dispel your disbelief by saying, oh, because it's real to me. That's not enough. The evidence is in of itself of who he is for himself. Now you watch. Now you see whether you choose to believe or not. So I don't even approach non-believers like that either. I just listen. But what I do know is, and why I like the Bible so much, and you know what? I'm going to go ahead and end this here, because the next story is the Adam and Eve story. And why I like the Bible so much is because for one, it's a historical document. Well, okay, dude, you can't disprove the evidence that Christ was alive. You can't disprove the evidence that people, when it talks about Samuel or Daniel with the Babylonians. Also, there's no Babylonians ever. Also, the artifacts and everything is there. Oh, these places are real. Okay, well, this is what happened there in and of itself. So these places that exist, there is an intervention from an all superior being into a group of people that he chose. I call him he. That's his pronoun that he chooses to like and use. So we'll use his pronoun. And he says this about this people. We can get into the ups and downs and the arguments left and right, but the whole point I'm trying to make is this Bible is filled with stories, and people have already made mistakes, and where it comes from is our own inadequacies and our own weaknesses and our own filth, and I'm choosing to acknowledge mine. Whether you choose to acknowledge yours and do something about it is your business, and I'll applaud you for it. But I don't impose my will or belief system onto you. I won't allow you to do it to me. I'm my own buffer with that too, because I know what that is too. Okay. So no, I have trans and gay friends, and no, I don't let you, no. Separation of church and state, separation of gay and state. We'll do the same thing. So my thing is, because that is a religion, by the way. My thing is, when you are aware of the truth, and if it lines up with righteousness, and when it lines up with a wisdom, understanding, especially. And what I mean by righteousness is like, this is the right thing to do. And it's hard even if we don't agree with it, but it's the right thing to do. It's hard, but then we have the stories of, oh, here's why. This is why we do it. It's not because I want to be an asshole to you. It's because there are certain things set in motion. You can't break that or this will happen. It's just the way it is. It's like gravity exists. All right, we'll jump. Okay, cool. Don't jump from buildings. Certain things will happen. Well, why? Oh, gravity exists. Oh, you made gravity. Oh, it's your fault. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. Anyway, there are things in the Bible that tell us what to do and not to do, how to be and how not to be, especially to each other. And my main goal is to be like those people that were good to me. I want to be good to people. I'm going to show them good things. And whatever the Lord provides, it's my duty to share. Whether it's wisdom, knowledge, insight, because that's all I got. I ain't got no money. I'm trying to win this motherfucking lottery. And resources, supplies, water! Something. So here's the thing. If you've been instructed to do a good, do the good. While you're continuing to do the good, do not be dissuaded with the lie and deceit as if you're supposed to know more, be more, endure more, receive more, if you chose anything else. Because that anything else is death, essentially. And that's the essence of Adam and Eve. So happy New Year. Happy Trump year. We'll see what happens. We'll, man, hey, enjoy this new jam. And if you want, maybe we'll do a live thing. I just gotta get subscribers and viewing hours, and we'll do a live thing, and I can jam live and show you how I do these videos or the music things. Opportunities out there, man. There's a chance for them. There's a chance for me. A chance for everybody. The whole point of the thing is, man, look, I'm done with the pendejadas, as they say. Oh, speaking of pendejadas, Spanish. I'm done with all the frivolity and the uselessness of my talents. And let's just go to work. Let's do it. See what happens. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Make it happen. And at the end of the day, boom, Christ alive. And that's what it's about from here on out. Here we go. Ready?